This is the new ASUS Zenbook Pro 14 Duo OLED for 2023 and this is the ultimate creator laptop. So the big highlight of the ASUS Zenbook Pro Duo laptops are the duo screens, and the primary display is now slightly bigger at 14.5 inches compared to 14 inches in the last gen, and it's still a beautiful display. It's ASUS's Lumina OLED touchscreen with the high 2.8K resolution, smooth 120Hz refresh rate, the great color accuracy that makes it great for things like video editing, photo editing. It's a beautiful panel. The secondary display, aka the ScreenPad Plus, remains an IPS touchscreen panel while matching the primary display in terms of the high resolution and color accuracy, and it's now gotten a better anti-glare etching on the surface which handles reflections better. Now, apart from the matte finish, there are two big upgrades in this display. One, this is a 120Hz display just like the primary display, which means all the gestures, drawing on it with the ASUS pen, it's all smoother and nicer. The other big upgrade is the new improved hinge in this secondary display. See, when you open up the laptop, the secondary display now rises higher by up to 12 degrees. I mean, there's a pretty big gap here, and this results in a better view. It also brings the two screens closer, and very importantly, it makes air intake better. Now, ASUS claims up to 38% more airflow with this, and with the improved fans, the whole laptop is just more cooler. Anyway, ScreenPad Plus comes with upgraded software which makes things more seamless. For example, you can now drag an app and you get these controls, and what's interesting is that this supports the new Windows Snap UI, so you can snap it on the primary display or even the secondary display. This is pretty cool and it works really smoothly. There are all the other features. These ScreenPad Plus apps are here, the app navigator to quickly organize apps on the primary and second screen. You can also create app groups to launch them quickly. All of this is good, but the highlight has always been the controls you get. I mean, in Photoshop, you get these knobs for brush size, layer opacity, and you get these different wheel controls. These are very useful and work without lag, which is really important for the experience. Plus, you can add more functions you want using the ProArt Creator Hub. Now, these controls are supported in Creator apps, obviously, but I like that ASUS offers some presets for Office apps and even apps like Netflix and Spotify. And yes, you can add controls for any other apps you want. The secondary display upgrades apart, the new Zenbook Pro Duo comes with the latest specs. So this is powered by the powerful 13th Gen Core i9-13900H series processor with 14 cores, 20 threads. It's also gotten the new RTX 4050 GPU with fast 6GB GDDR6 VRAM, mux switch support, and the NVIDIA Studio drivers for better performance in Creator apps. Now, these specs do show improvements in the benchmarks. This scores higher in Cinebench compared to the last gen, and not just Cinebench. The 4050 GPU also helps this laptop score higher in 3D Mark than the last gen. We also ran the Puget bench tests and the scores are really good. I mean, this is a laptop that handles Creator apps with ease. As for the RAM and SSD, this packs fast 32GB LPDDR5 RAM and a 1TB Gen 4 SSD, which brings speeds you expect from Gen 4, as you can see. Now, do note that the RAM is soldered, but the SSD can be swapped and upgraded. Now, when it comes to real-world performance, we have been testing a lot of Photoshop and Premiere Pro on this, and the performance has been top-notch, very impressive. Editing a 4K video on Premiere Pro is smooth, lag-free, with no issues even when previewing the file at full resolution. Plus, the powerful CPU and GPU combo means that you can game on this. Sure, this is not a gaming laptop, but the 40 series GPU means it has features like DLSS 3 AI frame generation, and in an intensive game like Cyberpunk with AI frame generation turned on, DLSS set to quality, graphics set to high at 2.8K, the FPS was around 45, which is pretty good. The thermals are also slightly better than last gen. There's dual fans and dual heat pipes here, and I did notice that both the CPU and the GPU fan hit 9000 RPM compared to 8000 RPM on the last gen. The CPU temperature also does not rise much. While running the Cinebench multi-core test, it hits a maximum of 95 degrees, which is very usual for Core i9. The best part though is that I did not feel any heating on the keyboard or on the secondary screen, so it's all fine. Now, what's interesting is that even with all the high-end specs, the Zenbook Pro Duo remains a sleek and nice laptop. I mean, it weighs 1.7 kgs and is just 17.9mm thin. I mean, the looks haven't changed from the last gen. It's got a military-grade certified magnesium alloy build, and I like how stealthy this black variant looks. It's also got all the ports you need. The left has a headphone jack, the right has a USB-A port along with Thunderbolt 4 USB-C ports. The back has an HDMI 2.1 and a faster SD Express 7.0 card reader. The webcam is a 5-megapixel 720p camera that also has IR sensors for Windows Hello, and there's a time of flight sensor here that is used to adjust the display's temperature and brightness depending on the surroundings automatically. The keyboard and trackpad are still located here and they are a bit odd to use, but for what it's worth, the keyboard has nice tactile keys with good feedback, and the touchpad has a smooth glass surface which is responsive. The speakers tuned by Harman Kardon remain loud and nice. They are dual speakers that get very loud and they're very crisp, and there's Dolby Atmos support. I mean, I was actually surprised by how good these speakers are. And with all of this apart, you still get the ASUS Pen 2.0 in the box along with its interchangeable tapes, and this is nice to use be it on the primary screen or the secondary screen because the latency is low, there's good pressure sensitivity, and these buttons are useful. One works as an erase button, one as a right click or a lasso tool in drawing apps, and one is a function button. It also charges via USB-C. When it comes to the battery charging, it's the same as last gen. There's a 76 watt battery with a 180 watt charger, and this supports fast charging along with 100 watt USB PD charging. Now in my usage so far, the battery life was around 5-6 hours, which is something I expected considering the dual screens and the specs this packs. Look, overall, the new Zenbook Pro Duo is clearly an iterative upgrade from the last gen, and I'm fine with it because ASUS has clearly refined things while keeping the premium design and build. I mean, the secondary screen is smoother, it's at a better angle, the ScreenPad Plus software brings nice features, and the performance upgrade is actually good.